Cars on the formation lap for the final time in 2006 around the streets of Macau, ready for the 20th, the final, the championship deciding race in the World Touring Car Championship for 2006. Augusto Farfus Jr. in the Alfa Romeo. He came here as the championship leader by a slender single point from Andy Priaulx and Jörg Müller. And it is those three of the 9 potential candidates who are still in the hunt. Just one chair will remain when the music stops. Whose backside will be parked on it? We can only wait and see. 9 laps of Macau will tell us, possibly more if they have trouble, as they did in last year's races and required a safety car, but it's scheduled to go 9 laps. Andy Priaulx leads the championship now by 5 points from the BMW from the Alfa Romeo of Augusto Farfus, and by 7 points from the BMW of Jörg Müller. Both of those drivers, though, start on row 2 of the grid in front of him. Priaulx, our race 1 winner, starts on row 4 in 8th position. He's got a lot of machinery in front of him to get safely around the first corner, and he's got a big weight of machinery coming up fast behind him that will also want to get through fast. Priaulx is in the most difficult position of the title contenders. 8th place on the grid, David Leslie. On how he judges the first corner might ride or fall his entire season, his entire title defence.
Yeah, that's right. The one thing he can look forward to is directly in front of him are 2 front-wheel drive cars. That's Ivan Müller and from Fabrizio Giovanardi with a Honda. So if he can make a really good start, he may be able to get past both of those before he gets that run down to the first corner at Lisboa. He needs to get into and round that first corner nice and clean. Giovanardi stopped a long way back from that line. Jörg Müller is right on top, if not ahead of the line. Peter Terting also way behind the line.
Cars coming to the grid for the last time in 2006, the World Touring Car Championship finale at Macau. Peter Terting on pole from Tom Coronel, Seats 1 and 2. Championship hopefuls, Jörg Müller and Augusto Farfus on row 2 for BMW and Alfa Romeo. Fabrizio Giovanardi's Honda, Ivan Müller's Seat, Duncan Heisman's BMW 7th, and then 8th place, our points leader, our reigning champion, Andy Priaulx. 4 cars back on the right as you look at it here. The grid is complete. The red lights will go on, and when they change, away we go. Here comes Jörg Müller, right, and then he goes down the inside of Peter Terting immediately. Augusto Farfus boxed in behind 3 Seats as Jörg Müller gets the run on Tom Coronel, and it looks again as though a Seats hit the wall in the first corner in Reservoir, and that would have been Peter Terting on board with Andy Priaulx in the middle of the Dragon's Lair. Andy Priaulx must keep his nose clean. He's got to try and get to the inside soon. Priaulx being squeezed a little. There's too many BMWs. Jörg Müller will lead the race. Who will survive the first corner? Jörg Müller leads by a mile. It's 4 Seats wide. Priaulx on the inside, he's got another Seat. That's Rickard Rydell coming down inside him. Rydell brakes very early to avoid the contact. That is gentlemanly driving. And there's the incident behind them. The track is blocked once more. Cars backing up the circuit.
One of the things that happened earlier on, I said it on the screen, Augusto Farfus touched the wall. He is out already. Before he gets here, Augusto Farfus was backed off and way back, and that was the end of his race, his championship out there. So we've got 2 people left in the championship, Jörg Müller and Andy Priaulx.
Maurizio Cerasoli and I think Jordi Genet there. Jörg Müller leads, and if Augusto Farfus has dropped way back, then it is between the 2 BMW drivers. Jörg Müller runner-up to Fabrizio Giovanardi in the European Touring Car Championship in 2003 and 2004 and 2005, and that's Priaulx trying to find a way through, is it? Or Magnussen? No, that's further back. That's Magnussen. That is...
that looks like Rob Huff on the right-hand side and one of the Seats. I'm not sure who's in the Seat.
Is that a green strip? It's hard to tell.
It looks like it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place I make.
That's Terting in 2nd.
6th place I make Andy Priaulx at the moment, and he's ahead of Giovanardi with the BMW. But look at those 4 Seats.
Oh, goodness me, that's Terting leading from Ivan Müller, leading from
Tom Coronel,
leading from, that must be Rickard Rydell.
It could be James Thompson.
It could be Thompson. It looked like a bit of a short name for Thompson. Was that Magnussen? In about 7th or 8th or something?
That's Farfus. You see him down the bottom. He is. Safety car is out. They can't clear this lot quite quick enough. They got the safety car out.
Oh, that's
see the wall.
wrecked.
This is what happened to him on the start line. On that little kink through the Mandarin Bend. He came out of there. He hit the wall on the left-hand side. Before he even got to this corner, his race was over. I could see him going backwards very quickly indeed. So unfortunately he was squeezed into the wall. I don't know what happened. That's not a place you would normally have a big incident, but he is out of the championship. That's really unfortunate for Augusto Farfus. Very, very young driver. If he'd won the championship, he would have been the youngest ever FIA world champion. But unfortunately he's not. The safety car is out.
Well, Tarquini's camera showing us that he is facing backwards, and
Tarquini then that's turned around.
That's right. It will have been Tarquini and probably Rob Huff, and there's the rescue
crews. It has to be Rob Huff because there are no other Chevrolets left. Now Chevrolet came here really buoyed and doing well, and they don't have a single car left in the second race. They had only one started it, and now there's none.
So let's have a look.
You see
what's on the right?
He's going back already.
He's already hit the wall.
Has already hit the wall. He's out. He knows it. He's slowing down against the wall. But look at these three coming down into here. 3 Seats. Tom Cornell in behind. All having a bit of a bash at each other. Everybody else trying very hard not to hit Andy Priaulx. They know he's got an opportunity. As they come round, what happens? A Seat.
Heisman
pushed.
Heisman ran out wide. That was the white BMW. That was, I was watching him on the way in.
Straight into the tyre barrier, and there's the queue that comes after it.
Dear oh dear. Well, it's how last year's championship was decided in the end. The driver that avoided trouble the most won the title. First there were 9, then there were 3, now there are 2. So the point standings, if they finish as they are now, they will be tied on points, and for the second time in 3 years, Priaulx would win the title from a Schnitzer driver called Muller by the number of races he has won compared to the number his rival has won. Priaulx has got the chance to win the championship here. Let me just go through it again. Double check. Andy Priaulx, 1 in Monza, 1 in Magny-Cours, 1 in Oschersleben, 1 in Curitiba, and 1 in Macau. 5 victories. Jörg Müller, a winner in Oschersleben, a winner in Brno, a winner in Valencia. This would be win number 4. Priaulx would win it on the tie-break if they finish as they are now. Now that's still 7 laps of ifs, buts and maybes. In fact, more than that, because we're already under the safety car, so the race can be extended by up to 2 laps. That's Magnussen avoiding the collision. Tarquini there, spinning out of the dust cloud, and in it is what was the Chevrolet Challenge, Rob Huff's car. Well, of seasons of dramatic highs and lows, I'm afraid it's another fly-away low. He seems to fare rather better in Europe, doesn't he, than when he's flying away. He was airlifted away from the circuit in Mexico, of course, after a huge shunt, but no damage done to him. Now,
there's another Chevy.
Ooh,
there's a Chevy turned up on the back of the grid. It must have started out of the pit lane.
That may well be Larini. That
maybe Menu. I think Menu's car's got more of an opportunity to try and be repaired. Larini's car looked as though it was way beyond any repair whatsoever.
Well, should we have a look on the timing screen just in case? Oh, it's Menu. You're right, absolutely. Shown as 18th at the line. Oof, my goodness me. Hands up anybody who might be able to guess who that onboard replay was from. Looking backwards, you don't have much of a clue, but showing you some of the early incidents. So let's just reset the frame then as they circulate behind the safety car. Jörg Müller, the leader. Peter Terting is the first of all those Seats. It's Peter Terting, Ivan Müller, then Tom Coronel, the orange and black Seat, then James Thompson. So good spotting again by eagle-eyed David Leslie of Tomo coming up there. Andy Prio is 6th, enough to win the championship at the moment. Fabrizio Giovanardi is 7th. Andre Cotto is in 8th place in his Seat, the number 66 Seat Leon. He's the Macanese driver. 9th is Dirk Muller, 10th Ricard Rydell, 11th Stefano Daste, 12th Alex Zanardi, Luca Rangoni, Salvatore Tavano, Diego Romanini, Ao Chi Hong, Duncan Heisman, Alan Menu, Jan Magnussen, and that's as far as we go. 19 cars still moving under their own power, some of them being winched up into the air at the moment. You're looking at Bart Mumpai. He and Andy Prio will now be both on another different page of the song sheet to see who's going to win this championship. Unfortunately, their technology, they won't play any further part in the championship challenge. Farfus, that's not him.
That's Tavano.
Farfus can play no further part in it now then.
No, he was out having clipped the wall on a run down to the first corner. That was the end of that. But safety car still. Oh, look at that Seat there.
Oh, goodness me, that's Ricard. After being such a gent and allowing Andy Prio through, he obviously got involved in something further round, and he's gone very hard into the back of somebody.
Really has
there is Duncan Heisman's car right at the back.
And there's Alan Menu coming up after that. So he's
18th and 17th now. He's being shown as ahead of Salvatore Tavano, who we just saw catching up from behind. So you can already see from the lap counter, it's lap 3 of now 10. They're on lap are they on lap 3 now? I think it will get extended to 11 laps, I would think, because this is their second full lap behind the safety car. Not sure Ricard Rydell's car is going to last very long in the heat of Macau with what is probably a fairly damaged front end. Farfus, that's not. Is that it's Morbidelli. It's Tavano. It's what's left of Tavano's car. He's obviously tagged the wall. He's just...
We've seen him going round at the end. He'd obviously been into the pits, had the car taped up, because he was on his own going round. Now, even on his own... He's hit the wall
yeah.
Under safety car situation. Now, he's had to walk away from that car, so that's another problem for the officials to worry about. Can they let all these cars go next time round, knowing that they're going to arrive at that Alfa Romeo or somewhere else as well?
Well, it depends where they've parked it, where he's parked it. They haven't got to that position yet, although I sense they're getting close with the waved yellows there. So
the waved yellows is because of all the well, you have to wave the yellows before the cars come round, so the yellows are stationary until the cars arrive, then they're waved while the cars are going through, then they go stationary again after the cars are all through. That's the rules and regulations of how you wave a yellow flag during the safety car rules. But this is Ricard Rydell's car we're looking at, and how bad it is. Still trying to clear up this mess between Tarquini and what was Huff, but they eventually got Tarquini's car onto the flatbed. Now this is where Tavano has left his car. I
think this is off Faraway Hill down towards Moorish.
Really bad, and will they have to send out another wrecker to pick that up before they set this set of...
Well, there was certainly no sign of a crane, was there?
No, not anywhere near there, so it'd be another breakdown truck, I'm pretty sure. The officials will have radio conversations going constantly at this time with the marshals around the circuit to say where the car is it safe, can we leave it there? And I have to say, no, you can't leave it there.
No.
To be perfectly honest, you need another one of these trucks that they've got here. They've got a few of them dotted around the circuit to try and recover cars as quickly as possible. That's one thing they're very good here. They've done it for so many years. They know it's a tight circuit. They do have accidents. They practice at lifting the accidents out of the way. And they have another one yet to do with Tavano's car, but to hit the wall under a safety car situation when you're going around, unless something broke, of course, well, that's always a possibility, and therefore he's only a passenger, and it's not his fault as such.
Well, you saw that the left front side was already taped up. That may well just have been a suspension failure as a legacy of whatever impact caused the left front side to be taped up in the first place. So.
But this is on board from that was on board from Andy Prio's car, but here we are much further round. Moorish Hill, I would think, somewhere about there where that car is sitting now. And yeah, they're going to have to move it. They're not going to be able to leave that there, so that's a lot more time behind the safety car until they get Tavano's car moved. And look how narrow that circuit is there.
This is out of Donna Maria, and this is really very, very narrow indeed. I mean, it is just...
This is where you're coming into the hairpin after that, that's right.
Watching the onboard from the Formula 3 cars, you can... it's almost not quite believable that their wheels aren't touching on either side. It looks so narrow from the onboard camera view, but it feels a hell of a rush for the drivers as well. Jörg Müller leading the field round behind the safety car. Gianni Morbidelli's Alfa is out of the race. Salvatore Tavano's Alfa is out of the race. Augusto Farfus's Alfa is out of the race. All three of the N Technology cars finish the season battered, bruised, and will not see the last checkered flag of the year.
But coming back down the straight now, you can see the lights still on. Through the very fast curves down this long straight. This is into our bend in actual fact, which is the last corner before the start and finish. And obviously the safety car still going, didn't pull off to the left there where he could have done if he was going into the pit lane. So they have to get out and manage to recover that Alfa Romeo of Tavano that's parked out on the hill. So that will hold it up for at least, I would think, one more lap after this one. So I would say 2 laps from this point, having just started. Andy Priaulx sitting there thinking, well, we've had the extra couple of laps that we need for this race as far as the safety car goes. From now on, all these laps will start counting down, because this is 4 of 11. You can see now on the top left-hand corner of your picture. What would have been 4 of 9 originally is now 4 of 11. You're allowed 2 laps behind the safety car, which don't count to the race. After that, the rest of them all count. So now these laps will start counting, and there we are. There's the truck and the Hayab out there to pick up that car, and that's
oh dear, Diego Romanini's car as well. Oh dear, we're crossing them off faster than we can count. 16 cars now shown as still moving under their own steam. I don't think that's going to see a transponder. Oh, that's the pit lane. That's where he is. In fact, he's coming down the pit lane, and obviously the car wouldn't quite get him all the way in. So I would think this will be the last lap behind the safety car, probably.
They've still... Oh, that's what happened on the first lap.
There was 2 Seats leaning on him. That's what happened. Both Seats were leaning on each other, and they were in his door, and that's why he hit the wall on the outside. You could almost literally see them leaning over sideways. Well, there you go. Unfortunately, them's the brakes in Macau. There is nowhere to go. When you run out of road, you run into something very firm. It is between a rock and a hard place here, and Augusto Farfus, just another one of the many, many drivers that's had a race ended in contact with the barriers here over the many years that these races have been running. 53rd Macau Grand Prix now running this weekend for the Formula 3 cars. And the touring cars have been a fixture here for, I don't know, many years, over 20 years I would think now probably as well. Is that spots of rain on the camera lens as well, just to add insult to injury? That really would make life very tricky for everybody. Certainly just looks like a little bit of moisture. Did see in the rain, in the weather forecast, that there is a more than 30% chance of rain showers this morning. Well, we're into this afternoon now, and this afternoon and 40 minutes, but still that's inaccurate enough for the weather forecasters, isn't it? There is a possibility that we might get some rain. Well, that would really make life very tricky indeed, and it would really reduce this pretty much to a kind of rolling fast. Slippery surface flags are out, because obviously several somebodies probably have left oil there, David.
Well, with all the cars that have fallen off around the circuit, each time they fall off, they drop fluids, whether it be oil, water, burst radiators, etc. And then that all has to be sort of mopped up, and you have this concrete dust that goes down to try and mop up any fluid that's there. But of course, that dust is a bit like sand in a lot of respects, and it is very, very slippy indeed. So when these cars get going, all of a sudden they're going to be coming around on what would be the normal racing line, and they're going to have a lot of dust and dust around to run over and hopefully not slide on and slide into yet another barrier for some of the for these cars.
We saw Andre Cota there in the middle of the bunch. There he is. And we understand that the race director is now black flagging Rickard Rydell. The team have been told that they must remove Seat number 3 from the racetrack. So unfortunately, it looks as though he will have to go down pit road, because there's not much you can do to argue about that. Cars heading around on lap 4 of 11 here in Macau under safety car conditions after a first lap incident, or a number of first lap incidents. I've seen us lose about half a dozen cars from the field already. Riding with Andy Priaulx in 6th position, and for the championship leader, for the defending champion, in 6th place, that's good enough. Now what's going on there? The Seat's having a bit of a drop back from Jörg Müller to try and give themselves some space to maneuver. The safety car is coming at speed down the pit road.
They've given the whole thing to Jörg Müller. They've just handed it to him on a plate.
Running away with the race. What on earth was Peter Terting doing? He's no longer got Ivan Müller. Oh, he's let Ivan Müller through. Before the green flag, before the start-finish line, that surely is a penalty.
2, 3, 4, 5. There's a car missing.
Peter Terting is not there. Peter Terting is not there.
And obviously Peter Terting slowing down because he had a problem. Everyone else is queued up behind it because they know they cannot overtake under yellow flag situation.
Line, absolutely.
So Peter Terting's had a problem. That's held everybody else back, but it has put Andy Priaulx up into 5th. But it's handed this race automatically to Jörg Müller. So Jörg Müller knows he can go out and win this race very, very comfortably. He is just so far ahead of everyone else, 6 seconds. Because of that problem with Peter Terting.
Through Lisboa for the 5th time, 2nd at racing speed for Andy Priaulx, successfully negotiated. You could see Priaulx moving around behind James Thompson. Why did he want to get up into 4th? Not particularly that he wanted to get up into 4th, it's just he wanted to get away from Fabrizio Giovanardi, Andre Cotto, Dirk Müller, Stefano D'Aste, the loose cannons rolling around behind. With no disrespect to their driving abilities, even the best drivers can make mistakes here, and the one thing Priaulx doesn't want is Giovanardi and Cotto tangling and slamming into the back of him under braking and punting him out of what at the moment is a 2nd World Touring Car Championship winning position. So Jörg Müller out front. All he can do is win the race and then pray that something happens to Priaulx, because at the moment Priaulx will take the title from his 5th position.
That's right, and you know, Jörg Müller can do no more than win a race. That's what he's employed to do, that's what he's going out to do, and unless something goes sadly wrong in the 6 laps that are left, and that's exactly what he will do. But you can see now right behind Andy Priaulx is that Honda of Giovanardi.
Drive through for Ivan Müller. Now what can that be for? It can't be for overtaking, because is Terting still there? He's not still there in the queue.
No, Terting is missing altogether.
Yeah. So why has Ivan Müller been penalised? Anyway, look, Giovanardi all over the back of Priaulx. This is exactly what he doesn't want. He does not want to start giving away places. There's far too long a queue behind him to be doing all that malarkey, but he's got to get away from Giovanardi. Giovanardi's got one of the quickest cars out there. That's the gap back, though. He's got a little bit of a head start when they come off the hairpin, but from here on in, well, there you see see how Mario Tyson's now beside the RBM crew as opposed to the Schnitzer crew, because he knows which way the cameras are going to be looking at the end of the race. Trying to divide his loyalties, obviously equally among all the BMW contenders. There is Ivan Müller. Well, he's got 2 more laps to take his drive-through penalty, because if we've been informed, then so have the team. Jörg Müller leads in this BMW, running out of shot now. Ivan Müller 2nd, Tom Coronel in 3rd. 4th is James Thompson, 5th is Andy Priaulx, and he's staying away from Giovanardi, and better than that, Cotto is all over the back of Giovanardi's Honda as well, and that's what Priaulx needs. He needs Cotto to be duffing up Giovanardi and distract him from knocking him off.
That's right. If they have their own battle further behind, then Andy can simply drive away and let them go. But Andy's showing his nose all the time to James Thompson, and they hope that James will make a slight mistake, and he has made mistakes this weekend already, and if he does, then Andy will be straight through and past James. But all over the back of him at the moment. But Seat's 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Ivan Muller in second place, Tom Coronel in third, James Thompson in fourth, Seat second, third and fourth. But one of these guys has got a drive-through penalty, and it's the man who's in second place. Ivan Muller may not now end the season as the top Seat driver, which he was on target to do ahead of Gabriele Tarquini, which would have been a big feather in the cap of Hugues de Schoenack, as well as one of his favourite drivers, Ivan Muller. Of course, the two of them won a number of ice racing championships together with BMW, but with Seat, he could have been on top. In fact, it is the two Oreca-run Seats that are the top factory cars here, because Muller in second and Thompson currently in fourth are the Oreca drivers. In between them, the GR Asia Independent Trophy winner Tom Coronel, third overall. Well, we've had one of those already. Luca Rangoni was third overall, wasn't he, in Valencia? But Coronel looks like he's going to be on the podium, not in third, but very likely in second position. Because as Jürg Muller romps away here, James Thompson doesn't seem to have much to show Tom Coronel. Tell you what, Jürg Muller better just be a little more easy the way he's brushing those walls, particularly coming out there, because that one has caught a lot of drivers so far this weekend at Fisherman's Bend.
And you can see now the Seat drivers slowly sort of spreading themselves out, and Andy Priaulx dropped back a little bit there from the Seats, allowing the Honda to catch up. Now, we said earlier on in the first race how quick that Honda is down these straights. Very, very quick engine indeed. And the last thing Andy wants is to be diving into this corner at the end of the straight here with a Honda sitting right beside him. That's not really what he wants to be doing. But you can see now everybody watching Snitzer know that they can do no more. They've done everything. They've given the drivers the cars that they need to be able to go out and win races. And if he goes and wins this race, they can ask no more of Jürg Muller. But, you know, it all depends on where Andy finishes. At the moment in fifth, but waiting for Ivan Muller with the Seat to take his drive-through penalty that we've been informed about. And if that happens, then that'll put Andy up to fourth. But still, he's got that Honda Accord of Fabrizio Giovanardi right behind him, who's giving him quite a hard time. And Giovanardi will have no worries about going past Andy Priaulx if he has an opportunity. So Andy very much needing to hang on to the back of these guys. He knows the guy in front of him very well, James Thompson. Two British drivers there in fourth and fifth places from the British Touring Car Championship. Ivan Muller, who's in second, was from the British Touring Car Championship. So it's only Jürg Muller and Tom Coronel who've not actually been racing as part of the British Touring Car Championship. They're right up there at the moment, but it's right on the heel of Andy Priaulx is that Honda Accord, and Giovanardi showing just how well that car can actually go with an experienced driver inside it.
Looking very aggressive, as much as Priaulx is looking pretty defensive at the moment there. Priaulx using some wide lines, and Giovanardi snipping along at the inside all the time. And particularly around this twisty section, he's really closing on Priaulx. And then he's carrying a little less weight than Andy. So that will certainly help him. There's Joe Priaulx. And again, a lot of the family will be here. And this is James... no, that's Andy Priaulx's rear-facing camera, of course, because Giovanardi got right into his back bumper, into the hairpin. But, of course, the BMW squirts round, David, almost handbrake turning its way around, and fires itself off down the hill with much more alacrity than the Honda can, because its front wheels are still pouring the air as it turns the corner, as it drops down there. But once they get into the run, and once they've got some speed up and Priaulx's giving away a toe, then Giovanardi is able to close. Now, what's Ivan Muller going to do? He's, well, by any stretch of the imagination, now on the last lap of his race, because surely he's going to have to come in on the next lap, because he's been handed a drive-through penalty. He's been, we were told about it 2 laps ago, so the team certainly were. So he's got 3 laps to obey before he is eliminated from the race. And at the moment, he's just, Coronel's flashing the headlights. Come on, get out of the way. Even I know you've got a penalty to serve. What are you doing? Let me get on and try and win the race for Seat. Let's think about the Manufacturers' Championship here for a moment.
While we were talking there was something came across the bottom of the screen. I was looking at the timing screen to see what was actually going on, and I thought it said something about the penalty being suspended. So it may be that he will be left out there to carry on. If we can see that graphic again across the bottom of the screen, because we both missed it looking at the timing screen.
Looking back from Andy Priaulx again at the Yas Sport Honda of Fabrizio Giovanardi. Oh, how Giovanardi wishes now that he could have been this close to Priaulx in an Alfa last year. He just wasn't quite close enough when they arrived in race one, and the car was damaged badly as he tried to get on terms with the then championship leader Priaulx. And he's all over the back of him now, sort of in retribution. But I'm sure he will try and keep it as clean as he possibly can. He'd dearly love to get by and maybe put the Honda onto the podium. What a great result that would be for the Yas Sport team if they could manage it. Ivan Muller is pulling away from Tom Coronel ahead of James Thompson, Andy Priaulx. So it looks as though Muller is going to stay out. And maybe he's now got a new lease of life. Well, yes, breathe, in, out. Gosh, it must be really, really tough. Bad enough when your husband's having a really tough time at the racetrack, and Joe knows those years all too well as well. But when he's on the brink of something like this, it's aging for everybody, for the whole family, but particularly for Andy and Joe Priaulx, just waiting for the remaining laps to tick away. They're on lap 8 of 11, David. 9, 10, 11, 3 more laps to go. And the championship again will be heading to Guernsey, and it's just so close, but yet so tantalizingly potentially could be robbed from them. Well, we're now hearing that the penalty for Ivan Muller has officially been cancelled. Rickard Rydell, we were told, was going to be black flagged off.
They've taped it up, and now it looks even worse than it did before.
Do you know what? That is the mechanics going, you are having a laugh, aren't you? Right, we can have a laugh as well. Get the gaffer tape. They're just determined to get the car to the end of the race, no matter what. So, well, good for them.
But down this straight, Andy Priaulx just really does catch up James Thompson before they get to that first corner on the circuit, the Lisboa corner, but just can't quite be close enough in order to overtake. I think he would very much like to have that one place, that extra place of safety, and get past James if at all possible. But the man out front, who was gifted this race by Peter Turting, having a problem of some description, we're not sure what, but certainly Peter Turting is 4 laps down. He didn't carry on after that incident. Coming up to the flag to take the green flag, he had a problem. He held everybody else back, and all of a sudden 6-second gap was what Ivan Muller had as he set off, although that gap is now down to 4.6 seconds because all the time the other guys behind are slightly quicker. This man in second place, Ivan Muller, certainly is quicker. He's the one that's bringing the gap down. But when you're handed a 6-second gap, that's massive, absolutely ginormous, and you really got to do something fairly wrong to hand that away to somebody else.
Well, what it has done is given Jörg Muller a massive cushion, so he can just take the shade off all the risks that you have to take to really put in the lap times. His last lap 2:35.8 compared to 2:35.1 for Ivan Muller. 0.7 of a second harder Ivan Muller is pushing to try and close the gap in what surely everybody can probably see as a futile chase, unless Jörg Muller makes a mistake or has a problem. But nonetheless, it's a racing driver's job to push as hard as he can until the checkered flag, and that's what Ivan Muller's doing. That's what Tom Coronel's doing. Thompson, Priaulx, Giovanardi, the rest of them. But for Muller, he's got that big gap, which means just taking the edge off it, just being more careful, just being safer, just doing everything to try and guarantee that last win of the season coming his way. So Andy Priaulx, we just saw the onboard shot. There he is in the middle of those 3 cars. James Thompson in front, Fabrizio Giovanardi behind. Vauxhall drivers both, neither were teammates with each other though. One inherited the other's seat. But here comes Priaulx having a look at Thompson now. Priaulx puts in a concerted move. Thompson, if he gets alongside, is going to let him go, isn't he?
He's got the possibility of outbreaking him down, and there's his wife Jo taking more big deep breaths. And behind you can see now Tomo really holding up.
Well, he is defending hard.
He's defending very hard indeed, but that's allowing the Honda to give him a real hassle behind as well.
on board with Andy Priaulx, rushing up San Francisco Hill, through Maternity Bend, and down towards the Solitude S's. We're on the streets of Macau, in front of the maternity hospital, plunging down the hillside again, as the small roads of this former Portuguese enclave once more form the backdrop to a dramatic and exciting, a breathtaking finale for the World Touring Car Championship. Every seat in the house is free, because nobody is sitting on them at the moment. They're all craning their necks to see where the leader will come past next. And the leader is Jörg Müller. He's still got a sizable advantage over Ivan Muller's Seat and the car of Tom Coronel. But Andy Priaulx had a good look at James Thompson last lap on the fast section, past the start-finish line, past all the grandstands, past the Mandarin Hotel. But Thompson sat in the middle of the road and made him go all the way round the long way, and Priaulx didn't have the pace to do it. And do you know what, David? I'd be surprised if he tries again. I think that was his one shot at getting by, and I don't think he'll really put that much effort into it. He knows he's won the championship where he is. He doesn't need to.
The problem he has is what's behind him with Giovanardi with that Honda Accord. Now, I'm sure Giovanardi's team has said to him, look, you know, be sensible, whatever you do, do not alter the championship standings by having a moment and taking out one of the possible championship winners. The other possible championship winner here we're looking at now, Jörg Müller. He was gifted a 6-second lead at the start. It's down to less than 4 seconds. There's the board going out now that says last lap. The man with the checkered shirt holding up the board. It says last lap. Rydell back into the pits. I think he's probably had another telling from the officials. Come in, you can't race with a car like that. That really is beyond it.
Do you think Eduardo Freitas didn't see the joke, the clerk of the course? I think you're probably right. Well, here comes Thompson, here comes Priaulx, there is Giovanardi. And you're right, I'm sure that the Yasport team are desperately hoping that Giovanardi doesn't get involved in anything. Coronel looking for second from Ivan Müller, can't get it there. But Priaulx, well, he tried to get by Thompson, but Thompson was going to make him work for it. He didn't block him, he didn't weave, he just sat in the middle of the road on the racing, well, to the right of the racing line, and made it hard for Priaulx to get by. And Giovanardi could perhaps have tried to capitalise, and if he was racing anyone else, maybe might have. But anyone else and the man who's about to win the championship are really miles apart. Giovanardi knows, he respects, he understands winning touring car championships and how important it is to everybody concerned. I think of all the drivers out there, he's one of the last ones who'd get involved in that kind of stuff. And there was something going on behind with Koto, Müller and Zanardi.
Yeah, they were having a real battle into the corner at the end of Lisboa corner. It's been carrying on since then, so not sure what's going on back there, but they really are having a battle between the three of them there. Very, very close indeed, and then there's a bigger gap back to D'Asti in 10th place.
Last time down the hill towards the hairpin for Andy Priaulx. It's the last lap for Jörg Müller, our race leader. It's the last lap for Andy Priaulx, and Priaulx will finish, if he finishes where he is now, tied on points with Jörg Müller. And
no, he'll end up 1 point more than Jörg Müller. He's now in 5th place, remember.
That's true.
5th place, he gets 4 points. 4 points to his 69 is 73. Jörg Müller has 62. He gets 10 points. That will make him up to 72.
That is exactly right.
So this 5th place that he's in line for at the moment will give him a 1 point advantage in the championship, providing they get across the line. 2 very dangerous corners to get before you get there. That's one of them. It's Fisherman's. Down to R bend immediately afterwards. That's another one. We've seen so many accidents at both of those corners. Lights on now for Jörg Müller. He's done what he was asked to do. He's gone out and won the race. Done a really good job. His lead has been stretched down. There's the man with the checkered flag.
And behind him, across the line, 5th position for Andy Priaulx. The World Touring Car Championship successfully defended by BMW Team UK, by RBM and by Andy Priaulx. Bart Mampai, the team boss, receives everybody's congratulations, including, I'm sure, first on the radio, Andy Priaulx. Look at that, the first time he's dared to breathe all race. A huge sigh of relief, of vindication, of jubilation. And I'm sure back in the pit garage, wife Jo has started to breathe again as well. Andy Priaulx, double World Touring Car Champion. 3 years in succession, he has been the Touring Car Champion, the European title, and now double World titles. A phenomenal run of performances, a phenomenal streak of consistent racing from a one-car operation, don't forget. And they've taken on the factory BMWs, they've taken on the factory Seats, they've taken on the factory Alfa Romeos, and they have beaten them all. What a remarkable achievement. In the end, it was a little bit of a damp squib, the final race of the year, but not for Andy Priaulx. He'd done what he needed to do in the previous 19 races. He did what he needed to do at the start. He survived the first corner. He got into a winning position, and he took the title. Well, David, he has been consistently the fastest driver and the fastest consistent driver as well over the last 3 seasons. He's always scored points pretty much where there have been points to be scored. A couple of notable times where he's been involved in accidents, either of his own or somebody else's making, have denied him. But that is part of the game with such a tight touring car championship, but he rises to the occasion every time.
With so many people out there capable of winning this championship, when we came to this last round, the last 2 rounds, there was 9 people still capable of winning the championship, and it's come down at the end of it. It has been won by 1 point. 1 point only. 73 points for Andy Priaulx, 72 for Jörg Müller. Now then, the Schnitzer team and Müller, they've worked so hard to try and win that championship, and they've been so close on so many occasions. And there you see just how relieved Joe Priaulx is, and his wife, and that, you know, he's got to the end. No accidents, no damage, nobody sort of turning around into the wall, no mistakes here at the very last meeting. But he's concentrated very hard on what he's doing. As you said, most of the season he's been a one-car team. He's had to do all the work himself. He's had no one to help him. This weekend he did. He had Jan Magnussen along to help. Jan certainly helped him for qualifying with a tow down the straight to try and get that extra time. But one very happy man, and I'm sure we'll see that when he gets out of the car.
Race winner Jörg Müller heads down out of Fisherman's for the final time in 2006 into the pit entry road. Right behind him in second place, Jörg Müller. Ivan Müller, third place is another Seat of Tom Coronel. But all the celebrations, there is Joe Priaulx with Dr. Mario Tyson, the head of BMW's motorsport department, because it's her old man, Andy Priaulx, who has won the World Touring Car Championship. So BMW come out on top in 2 of the 3 categories. The Independence Trophy does not go to BMW this year. It was won comprehensively by GR Asia and Seat. But the manufacturer's crown and the driver's title go to BMW and to their driver Andy Priaulx. So congratulations all round to them, and I'm sure there's going to be a high time in the Old Town tonight. Priaulx and the crew enjoyed their celebration of their first title last year, and you know what, I don't suppose it'll be an awful lot of a worse feeling this year either.
I think they celebrated last year and learned how to do that. Now they know how to do it. They're going to really paint the town red tonight, I'm pretty sure, in Macau. We've seen also Andy's dad, who was standing in the pit lane as well, amongst that crowd of people, and they'll be telling him where to go, where to park up. The first 3 in line, I'm sure, will go into the normal sort of first, second and third position, but they will need Andy there, because Andy is the new world champion. He's the old world champion as well, but they will at some point be up on that podium for the championship position, not just the race position.
Well, there's been a lot of talk recently about how Andy Priaulx in such a short time has become one of the recognised touring car greats. Excuse me. Even Roberto Ravaglia, even the great Roberto Ravaglia, didn't get a chance to win 2 World Touring Car Championships. They only had 1 when he was a current driver. But Priaulx, with the European title and consecutive world titles in 3 years, they were only he's only been racing touring cars for 4 years. He raced 1 year in the British Championship for Honda before coming in to the European Championship. And before that, of course, a single-seater career that started in hill climbs like his father Graham. He started by winning the British Hill Climb Championship. He then won the Renault Spider Championship, and an almost uncontested display of performance in his first major track racing series. He raced in the British Formula 3 Championship, won races but not the title. Converted into touring cars when he couldn't find a top single-seater drive. And my goodness, what a good career change that has proved to be, from what perhaps might not have been the most promising thoughts at the beginning of it, but he has turned into a peerless performer in touring cars, and a very deserving champion, as would probably any of the 9 who came here have been. But there won't be an awful lot of drivers or people in the paddock that have got anything against Andy Priaulx winning the title. He doesn't seem to have made very many enemies in his rise, but he's made an awful lot of friends.
That's right, and we've seen it before that all the people just really would like, you know, someone to win the championship that's got a big smile on their face, and Andy certainly has that smile on his face. You can see just how happy he was before he got out of the car, never mind when he got out of the car, waving to everybody, saying, you know, 3 championship wins, 2 world championship wins, and he's one very happy chappy at the moment. It's been taken off to the press office by the FIA press officer, obviously for interviews. Whether they're going to go through the World Championship and give him the first interview, or whether they'll do the actual race interviews first for first, second and third, which is Jürgen Müller, Van Muller and Tom Cornell. Tom's highest place finish, 3rd. He has had a 4th before. He was nearly on the podium, but not quite on his own right. This time he's number 3 on the podium in his own right, not just as an independent, but overall. But there's the Guernsey flag with Joe's wife and friends there. Now they're going to wander off down towards the press centre where Andy's been taken.
Well, that's not the end of the action here in Macau, so the fans heading off to grab a drink and get a bit of shade, but there's plenty more going on the streets of Macau. But the Touring Car Championship for 2006, the World Touring Car Championship, is at an end. Andy Priaulx, the race winner in race 1 and the championship winner in race 2. Jürgen Müller, a victory to end up in what they call the vice champions position in Germany. Augusto Farfus 3rd, and Ivan Müller in 4th in the points, is the top scoring SEAT driver of 2006. His Spanish Armada in total, SEAT have had something like 11 or 12 factory drivers throughout the course of the year, 7 of them here. And you can see that Alain Menu, despite finishing in 10th place here, out of the points from the back of the grid, or from the pit lane was it he started. There he is, the Chevrolet driver in 15th place, Rob Huff in 16th spot. Well, we're hearing now that we are going to hear from our world champion first, and in the words of the great Barry Norman, and why not? Here's a chance then to hear from the 2006 World Touring Car Champion.
Andy Priaulx, you're world champion for the 2nd consecutive year. What's going through your mind right now as we speak?
I'm just numb with emotion. It's almost too much to take 3 in a row. The pressure in that 2nd race was unbearable, to be honest. I couldn't stick another lap of pressure like that, and Fabrizio was hitting me every lap, so I knew I needed to finish 6th or better, and well, we did it. It's been a really tough day, and I'd like to thank everybody, my team, my RBM, BMW, my family, my wife, everyone at home looking after my kids. Thanks, guys, because you made this possible, and I just can't believe I've done 3 in a row.
It looks even bigger than the first title.
Yeah, it means a lot more, because you know, people say it's a fluke, the first one, and then they say I try to use the reverse grid to help me. Well, proved it. Pole position, first win, 5th in the 2nd race, had no help at all. So, thanks very much.
It's been a fantastic Macau weekend. Where do you think you won the title?
I think I set the foundation to it at the beginning of the year with 4 wins. I've had 3 pole positions, and now I've had a final 5th win. I think I've had the speed all year. I just haven't been able to carry 80 kilos, and you know, that's too much weight to bear. But anyway, I came to the right place with the right ballast, and we won.
We saw you preparing a lot during the weekend, working with the team, looking at the other races to understand the circuit. Is that also how you become world champion?
I've got nothing left to give. I'm absolutely knackered, and you know, it's been a great team effort. It's not just about me. The team have given me a brilliant car that's finished every race. The reliability's been fantastic. The team have worked hard. We've worked hard, and we've all managed to achieve the ultimate goal.
Congratulations, thank you very much.
Thanks to everyone at home for all their help. Cheers, guys. Love you guys. Daniela, sorry I missed your birthday again, 3rd year in a row. Sebi, look after yourself.
Do you know what, if Daddy keeps bringing back World Championship trophies as late birthday presents, he may be excused, I guess. Well, and obviously very emotional Andy Priaulx, and whatever the naysayers may come up with, he is a deserving champion. So Andy Priaulx then, our world champion, but our race winner here in round 20, Jörg Müller.
Jörg Müller, very good weekend here in Macau with victory on race 2, but you just miss out on the world title by points. You still have a smile on your face.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the title stays within BMW. That's the most important thing. And I won a race. I mean, I came here with, you know, passenger on my side. I was on 75 kilos, and I knew it would be very difficult. But my team worked fantastic. The last 4 races, you know, we just got our car sorted with weight, which I was struggling a lot with at the beginning of the season. I always had big problems with weight in the car. Yeah, my guys got it sorted. I'm very happy. They just brought me a very good car. You know, with, as I said, with that weight, to win a race in Macau is unbelievable.
A lot of crashes throughout the race. That's typical Macau.
That's what you have always. It's going to be the same in Formula 3, and it's going to be the same, or it was the same in the Porsche Cup. That's Macau. It's very tight, but it's a big challenge to go here and hopefully to come back.
Yo, I just asked Andy where he thought he had won the title. Where do you think you might have lost it?
Well, I had a few zeros this year, and zeros is really something you don't want to have. I think I'm second in the championship with 10 zeros or something like this, and that was the key. You know, we had big problems at the beginning of season with, as I said, with weight in the car, and with such a competitive field, you're not going to be in the top 8 then if you're just a little bit off the pace, and that was the key.
Thank you very much, Jörg.
And also from me, alles Gute nach Rückelofen zu meiner Familie, alle Jungs, die jetzt zugucken, alles gegeben. Bye.
Little message home from Jörg Müller. 8 no scores, in fact, but it's been very few drivers who have managed to avoid more than that number of no scores. I mean,
but 6 of his no scores were at 3 meetings. He had no score at the first meeting at Monza, no score at Brands Hatch, and no score in Mexico. So that was the ones that really sort of hurt him.
Yvon Miller, a very, very good weekend for you. Are you surprised that the last time you came here was a very long time ago?
Yeah, that was in Formula 3 in '91. So for me, it's like if I was here for the first time. Now, for sure, I didn't expect that at all. But from the beginning, I was pleased with my car. The team worked well, and I was confident in the car, and that's helped a lot to learn the circuit. And step by step, I improve. I even improve my lap time on the race. It's even quicker than all the lap I did during the weekend. So it's good for next year.
Yeah, as you say, you finish the year on a high. It's been a learning year. Next year, you'll be going for the title.
Yeah, for me it was the first season. Of course, after the result of the beginning of the season, we could expect a bit more. But on the same time, here is the World Championship. The level is very high, and any mistake costs a lot. So on the end, I'm 4th at the championship. I had many victories, many podium, and no, we can be pleased with this result.
And also the best SEAT driver, is that important for you?
Yeah, unfortunately the other SEAT didn't have luck. I have to say Thompson did a very good job today because he started last, and in the end he's 4th the second race, so it's a pretty good job. And yeah, when there is always a SEAT on the front.
Thank you very much, Yvon.
Merci.
well, for Yvon Müller, basically after he left Brands Hatch, the wheels pretty much fell off, apart from Brunot, where he got 2 third-place scores. He scored just 1 point in Germany and 3 points in Valencia before coming to Macau after Brands Hatch round 3 of the championship. It was a tough time indeed.
Tom Grenal, you're on the podium here in Macau. Must be a hell of a satisfaction for an independent driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Macau is the end of the season. I like Macau a lot. I was leading in Formula 3 and I crashed. So the touring car race in 2001 I was leading and I crashed. So finally I just knew how to take it off the walls and I had a great result even as an independent driver.
A word on the independent standings. You've really been impressive all throughout the season. What made the difference for you?
I think the difference is just cleverness, that's all. I mean, many races I could not race against the factory drivers. I saw them in my mirror and I thought, it's not worth taking a risk, let's get them past. And it was finally the moment that I could really attack the car and attack the people. And yeah, the race was unbelievable. The first lap I hit directly the wall in Mandarin. I got hit by another car who was next to me, and then Farfus went off in front of me. It was one big chaos, but yeah, finally we became third. It's good for the team. The team did a brilliant job because the car was also perfect.
Tom Coronel, thank you very much. Time to party.
Yes, for sure.
Oh dear, how his reputation precedes him. Tom Coronel will be enjoying himself in town along with everybody else, and that is how they finished here today. Andy Priaulx, 5th position, enough to take the championship without needing to resort to the tiebreak. He wins by 1 from Jörg Müller, and also in the points, Andre Koto in 7th, Dirk Müller rounding them out in 8th position. Well, there are changes afoot for next year then. Perhaps the return of the factory Alfa Romeo squad, a slimmed down version of the Spanish Armada from SEAT. But at least the car, the name, the driver with the number 1 plate will be the same. It'll be Andy Priaulx. So some of the highlights of the race weekend here in Macau, as in 2005, a phenomenal seasonal climax. There are a lot of people who say, David, that the streets of Macau are no place to decide a touring car title, and in some ways you might argue that they're right. It's not the easiest place to win, but if you're going to win a World Touring Car Championship against the best drivers and the best cars, you may as well throw the toughest circuit in the world into the mix as well.
And we've seen just how tough that circuit is. So many cars have hit the walls, so many cars have had wheels taken off them, damage done to them, and you've got to get through to the end of 2 races to score good points. Yvan Müller did it, Jörg Müller did it, and Andy Priaulx did it. Those 3, the big point scorers here this weekend. The one that mattered most was the one for winning the championship, and that was for Andy Priaulx. There you can see what happens with the kind of accidents, and once somebody stops, they just keep piling into the back of each other. Very little they can do about it, but that was the moment where Augusto Farfus, his championship was run, it was over. He slid into that wall. Whether he had help or not, I'm not sure, but certainly that was the end of it. But here you can see on board from Andy Priaulx, following James Thompson. He would like to get past him, just simply couldn't do it, and he had to follow him all the way to the finish. But that 5th place finish behind those 3 Seats, and this man, Jörg Müller, who was first, gifted a big lead at the beginning. He wasn't the fastest man on the circuit by any stretch of imagination when you look at the live timing, but he was the man who won, and he was the man who scored 10 points in that last race. Unfortunately, not enough to stop Andy Priaulx hanging on to that number 1 plate for the 3rd year in succession.
What a race weekend though. 9 drivers covered by 12 points at the final race weekend, all of whom could have won the championship, but it was a successful title defence by Andy Priaulx, Team RBM and BMW UK. BMW again win the manufacturer's crown, and Tom Coronel, GR Asia and SEAT win the Independence Trophy. So with Ian Titchmarsh on the podium, we're ready to greet our drivers. We will have our top 3. We will have our independence winner as well as part of our top 3. So as usual, we'll have 4 drivers on the podium, but the spare will be our world champion. Congratulations then to GR Asia. A podium in the final race at Macau, as Tom Coronel said. Finally, he's learned how to keep it off the walls. That's got to be worth a celebration or 2, hasn't it? So a great end to the season for GR Asia. It's been a really, really impressive performance by the whole team.
It's a very small team, and they've worked very, very hard indeed, and Tom certainly will be taking them out to party. That's one thing Tom does know what to do, and having kept it off the wall this year at Macau, he will be making sure that he will enjoy that this evening. But there's the man who won the race. Jörg Müller did everything that was asked of him. absolutely spot on race for him, and to finish first for BMW. What more can he ask for?
Well, he could have asked for 2 extra points, but they were hard enough to find at any stage of the championship, never mind in Macau. Those BMW driver joined by Dr. Mario Tyson, the head of BMW Motorsport, to take the final garland of the year. They are the manufacturers' champions, but he will also be joined on the podium, I'm sure, by our 2006 World Touring Car Champion. If they don't get Andy Priaulx up there, then everybody is missing a trick. If we German national anthem then ringing out for our race winner, Jörg Müller. Well, a moment of quiet contemplation, I think you saw there, as well as the smiles with the friends down in the crowd and the team. Just the moment of a little bit of disappointment there coming across the face of Jörg Müller, that the championship has eluded him yet again. For the last 2 years, it's been Dirk Müller who's been the unfortunate runner-up. This year, Jörg Müller takes over the reins again for the Schnitzer team. 5 years in a row, they have been beaten to a touring car title. And for the last 3, by the same pesky single-car Dutch operation. That has got to start smarting. If it wasn't already, it will be even more for next year. Tom Coronel, though, ends a great season for GR Asia. The European Touring Car Cup, they won it. 1 and 2 in both races with Ryan Sharp and Emmett O'Brien, and they won the Independence Trophy in the World Touring Car Championship with Tom Coronel. They, I'm sure, are thoroughly proud of themselves. And David, in very many ways, I think a parallel with the RBM effort. Lots of thinking driving, lots of really well thought out race preparation, and lots of good planning, and just a superlative performance, a really combative performance from Tom Coronel every time he was behind the wheel.
As Tom said, what he had to do during the season was not to race these guys, the works cars. He had to sort of back off and let them go, just win his own race, win the Independence race, not worry about where he was overall. When he got here, that had already been done. He could race, he did race, and what happened was he ended up on the podium in his own right, 3rd place overall, and also the top independent. So as you said, a good thinking team, a good thinking driver. He managed to keep it off the wall this year at Macau, as he said, so he is doing his best to put himself in a good position to try and get one of those works drivers for next year at SEAT.
And a great feather in the cap for the team that he was, if not the fastest, then always among the very fastest of the SEATs, factory drivers or not. Very few times was Coronel behind all of the SEATs, if any that I can think of, and a couple of times he was quicker than all of them. Andy Priaulx now, the World Touring Car Champion, will be coming up onto the podium in a moment or two, so we're going to hang on for a chance to see that. I think they'll allow the race winners to get busy with the fizzy first, and then perhaps present the trophy, the garland, to Andy Priaulx, our World Touring Car Champion. Well, Yvan Muller, you can't keep a Frenchman away from the alcohol for too long. He's already got the cork off, and Jörg Müller as well. So Priaulx is in for a serious drenching the moment he appears. What? It has gone off in my hand. The cock is off the bitol. Yes. You can take the boy out of the racing car. You can't get him away from the bottle of champagne or some such. So a host more dignitaries coming on. There should be about room for a world champion there. There's another garland. There's another trophy.
That'll be for the independent winner. And of course,
yes,
that is third place on the podium already. That'll be for Tom Cornell.
Tom
Are they going
Cornell,
to give it to him, or they're just going to...
He'll be well armed with two bottles of champagne.
Wondering what it's actually for. Tom said, yeah, up here, yeah, pass it to me. There we are. It's going to go his way.
Well, he orchestrated the last ceremony from the independence step, so he's now doing it from third step on the podium.
2 trophies, 2 garlands.
Indeed.
Yeah, GR Asia, Paul Ridgway, who runs the team, very happy indeed. And yeah, another bottle of champagne coming his way, so he's decided,
everybody
doesn't matter about the dignitaries, they're all going to get soaked.
One
That's
for the lads, one for everyone else. Absolutely right. And he will be the first at the bar with his hand in his pocket later on in the evening as well. So, the first of many drinks, I'm sure, going down the necks. So what a season finale it's been then after. There he is, there is our champion. Finally he gets on the podium. Andy Priaulx, congratulations. The 2006 World Touring Car Champion, a well-deserved and very popular championship win. And as he said, a more dramatic, a more emotional, a tougher fought, a harder come-by victory than the 2004 European title or the 2005 World title. Here's to 4 in a row for 2007. Till then, from David Leslie and me, Martin Haven, it's goodbye.